Hello and welcome to the May 4th, 2025 episode of Nick's News. May the 4th be with you. Oh, I love that line. I am your host, Nick, brought to you by Some Budget Studios. That's right, we're finally putting money into this project of ours. We're live every Sunday on YouTube, and we thank you all so much for tuning in or catching the replay on the YouTube the Nick's News YouTube page. I am going to flub all of this now. It's been a fun night. Oh, you can catch us live on YouTube. That's right, here on YouTube. This is a program dedicated to bringing good news to counter all of the bad news that we are bombarded with on a daily basis, with the hope of bringing a little bit of joy back to the world. Several of our articles are pulled from sites like goodnewsnetwork.org and goodgoodgood.co, but we appreciate everything sent in by you, the Nick's Newsies. So, yes, may the 4th be with you. Hello, Becky. Hello, Joseph. May the 4th be with you, and with you, fantastic. Yeah, it's a good... Hey, Julie, may the 4th be with you. Everyone's going to be saying it. Sue might make an appearance. He was out just before we started broadcasting, so keep an eye on that vivarium right there. Sue might come crawling out into this area. We'll see. Hello, Nico. So, news brew. As we enter May, we have reached the top of the mountain that I have been climbing. Every episode for the last month with Nick's News, I have been doing a higher and higher ABV beer, and we are going to cap things off at the peak with a beer of epic proportions. Say hello to Hoppin Frog's... I'll move it in front of my face. There it is. This is Hoppin Frog's Pentuple. A 15.1% ABV beer. It's a Belgian ale. It is a two-time medal winner, gold in 2021 and bronze in 2019 for the Great American Beer Festival. And it's time to get hopping. I actually have one better, but I am saving that for a special occasion, so... it's a small can. It's just 8.45 fluid ounces. So we are going to drink it like a fine wine from our Dragon's Milk Triple Mash Teku glass. We don't need the Balisong bottle opener, so we'll just crack this can. It's going to be a strong ale, folks. Julie says, Wookie Cookie Coffee is so damn good. That's fantastic. Yep, let's get into the theatrics of however long it takes to pour 8.45 fluid ounces. Belgian Gold. A lot of head on it that obviously we don't want to be drinking. Get all that gas out. And yeah, that's what 8.45 fluid ounces of 15.1% ABV beer looks like. Hopping motor oil? No, Hoppin Frog does make an unbelievably good Russian stout. That stuff is motor oil. This is like liquid gold. Not motor oil this time. Actually, the next couple of brews that we have... There we go. The next couple of brews we have in line won't be motor oil, so hope you all enjoy seeing those. So, all right, let's get into our shout-outs. The John Ball Zoo in Grand Rapids, Michigan is hosting its annual Lantern Festival from April 9th to June 15th. Specific days with specific hours vary depending on the month, so make sure to check in and check the website. Link in the description. Tickets are required and can be purchased online in advance. The Lantern Festival is a 1-mile light tour through the John Ball Zoo. The festival features handcrafted Asian lantern displays that will illuminate the zoo and tell the intersecting story of wildlife and Asian culture. It looks fantastic. I still am yet to go, but I will be going before they are out on June 15th. So, to John Ball Zoo and the Lantern Fest. Cheers. I see why this is a gold... Oh, gosh. Oh, my gosh. It just punched me in the throat. Oh, I see why it is an award-winning beer. Oh, my. Oh, 15.1% indeed. High octane. Oh, my gosh. It just stung me like I'd swallowed a bee for a moment. It was like, oh, ah. Nico says that they went this week. It was great. They loved the dragon. Very cool. Becky still needs to go see it. Yay for the zoo from Julie. Becky asking if I'm okay. I'm okay. I'll get through this beer, but man, it just warmed everything up too. Wow. I am feeling like I just drank a shot of bourbon. Whoa. All right. Next shout out, it's a big shout out to Tesla Tree Service, the environmentally friendly tree service in South Jersey. They've had a very busy week rescuing 2 cats and a parrot, and we have been sharing all of their, all their rescues on the Nick's News page because Tesla Tree Service is really awesome for providing that. It's an unbelievably good service that helps out the community. It helps get these poor animals out of these trees that they really shouldn't be in. The parrot is a pretty interesting one, and the video of that one was spectacular. But their tree services are awesome as well, and animal rescues are always free. So to Steve and the crew, cheers. Julie said the beer smacks Nick to get his attention and respect. Julie, the beer has my respect. Last shout out, and a big one. Our wonderful producer Donna is celebrating her birthday tomorrow on Cinco de Mayo. That's right. Happy birthday to producer Donna. This show would not be what it is without you and everything you have done to reshape it into a really amazing broadcast that is continuing to grow traction because of everything you're doing. So to producer Donna, thank you and happy birthday tomorrow. Cheers. And I still have one higher ABV than that for a good day. Holy crap. News quote. Be the reason someone smiles. Be the reason someone feels loved and believes in the goodness in people. That comes from Roy T. Bennett, who is an author of The Light in the Heart, Inspirational Thoughts for Living Your Best Life. And that really speaks volumes to what we're trying to do here with Nick's News and what I personally feel we can all strive to do as people, and to spread goodness, and that is to be the reason someone smiles. Be the reason someone feels loved and believes in the goodness in people. So to Roy T. Bennett, and if you search for Roy T. Bennett, you're going to find a politician and a diabetes specialist. This is not the same Roy T. Bennett as those two. This is the author, again, of The Light in the Heart, Inspirational Thoughts for Living Your Best Life. Thank you very much, sir. Cheers. Bug update. Elmira, still not awake, but that's fine. I'm not worried. It's only the beginning of May. It's only started to warm up. I think it's up to, the tank is usually 73 to 77. It's 75 right now after I misted it. So the temperature's starting to climb in there, and that should be about the time when, she'll start to wake up. So should see her soon. Sue is a monster. He's a terror, and he has a special spider roommate. There is a tiny little wolf spider that lives in his tank. I will try to get a picture of it, but it is very quick and very difficult to focus with the camera. So I will do my best to get a picture of the little guy. Ripley is the destroyer of happiness and sanity. She is an absolute terror, and this month, I promise you, I know I keep saying it, but this month we will do a rehousing for Ripley. She's going to get an upgrade. I've got this tank that's been sitting here. I've just been trying to get a hold of some other odds and ends for it to get it ready for her. But now with the tariffs, that's making that super difficult. So once I've got everything assembled, Ripley's going in a new home, and we will do a special broadcast for that rehousing. It should be a great time. It'll be like when I rehoused Sue. Y'all will get a much better close-up picture of Ripley, too. I'll have to take her out of that tank so I can take some of the soil from it to put it in the new home, because I want to take a lot of the established microfauna that she has and get that going in her new home so we can kickstart making that home a bioactive vivarium, just like her, her current one is mildly bioactive. The new one will be entirely bioactive, like Sue's, like Elmira's, like Mantis McCloud's. Speaking of Mantis McCloud, he's doing very well. He's very mobile. He's getting around. Usually, praying mantis adults, especially males, don't live this long. So he is going on strong. We are enjoying having him. He's still got an appetite. He's still hunting around his tank. So he's doing quite well back there. So everything's good in the bug world. With that, let's get into our broadcast. Our good news. Our broadcast is broken up into 4 major categories, and those categories are science and technology, health and medicine, flora and fauna, aka plants and animals, and wholesome notes, the really nice, touchy-feely articles we like to end on. We're going to start off in category 1, science and technology. Becky just said in the chat, he is hanging on to his title as immortal. That's right, Mantis McCloud was the one. He won the great game. He was the last of his brood. He is holding on to his immortality. That is really apt. All right, let's get into science and technology. We start off by calling this article, Magnet, bitch! Yes, it's a Breaking Bad reference, and thank you to Eliza for sending in this article. I will copy and paste this into the chat if y'all want to read along. Julie just said, there can be only one. Global nuclear fusion project crosses milestone with world's most powerful magnet. This was posted to Reuters. I never know if this site if this site is Reuters or Reuters. I think it's Reuters. It was posted to Reuters on May 1st of 2025 by David Stanway. I'm probably going to get a correction in the chat, which I would appreciate. I can hear Sue clicking around back there, so he might make an appearance. So keep your eyes peeled on that vivarium. I just heard his claws clacking, so I think he is out and about again. Actually, if you look back there, you'll see something moving. That's Mantis McCloud moving out of frame. He was just right here in the corner, and he said, enough of this. And he just climbed away. Reuters. Thank you, Producer Donna. All right. A much-delayed nuclear fusion project involving more than 30 countries is ready to assemble the world's most powerful magnet, a key part of efforts to generate clean energy by smashing atoms together at super high temperatures, aka fusion. The International Thermonuclear Experimental Reactor, or the ITER project, based in southern France and backed by the United States, China, Japan, Russia, and the European Union, needs the magnetic system to create an invisible cage to confine the super-hot plasma particles that combine and fuse to release energy. ITER said late on Wednesday that the final component of the system, the central solenoid, has been completed and tested by the United States, and assembly is now underway. It is like the bottle in a bottle of wine. Of course, the wine is maybe more important than the bottle, but you need the bottle in order to put the wine inside, said Pietro Barabashi, ITER's Director General. The magnet was originally scheduled for completion in 2021, but has since been beset by delays. To be behind schedule by 4 years after 10 years of effort shows just how troubled this project is, said Charles Seif, a professor at New York University who writes about nuclear fusion. Barabashi said the crisis was now over and construction was proceeding at the fastest pace in ITER's history. The startup phase of the project will begin in 2033, when it is scheduled to start generating plasma, which is exciting. Speaking of wine, cheers, says Becky. Cheers. There's Sue. I don't know if anyone sees him. I see him. Do y'all see him? He is mobile right now. Oh, he is a monster. Yeah, there's Producer Donna shouting Sue. That's him on the hide. That outline. That's him. Oh, he is. Oop, he took a tumble. Back to the article. While he... oh, he's still right there. He's a big boy. Alright. Barabashi said ITER proved that countries could still cooperate despite geopolitical tensions. They are a very, very strong cohesion of objectives, and for the time being I see no sign of a withdrawal from anyone. Fusion investment has been growing, with dozens of initiatives currently underway. Several private startups have said they can build commercial fusion reactors within a decade. Barabashi said he was skeptical, but supportive of the dozens of ventures in development across the world. We already know that we can get fusion, he said. The question is, are we going to get fusion in such a way that it would be cost effective? I am quite skeptical that we will be able to achieve this within, say, 1 or even 2 decades. Frankly speaking, it will take more time. But the advancements of nuclear fusion technology and science are astounding. They are happening in our timeline. This is just like when the previous generation was seeing the dawn of nuclear power. We are seeing the next step in our lifetime, and it is phenomenal, especially with the construction of this super powerful, the world's most powerful magnet. So, to everybody at ITER involved with the construction of this project, and to Eliza for sending in that article, cheers. Is he still there, or did he move off? Looks like he moved off. He is a treat to see, though. Being nocturnal, I don't get to see him all that much unless I'm checking on him, in which case I have to actually reach into the tank and pull a very large bark hide up because his burrow is underneath it. And every time I do that, I risk his wrath. So it's always fun to, when I'm awake, to actually hear him clicking around and see him come out of there. Alright, this next article we called "The Floor is Salt. The Walls are Salt. The Refrigerator is Salt." I will copy and paste this into the chat if y'all want to read along. He's still clicking around in there. 3 teens invented a salt-powered refrigerator that doesn't need electricity. They're building 200 of them for hospitals to use. This was posted to Business Insider, and it was posted on April 16th of 2025 by Morgan McFall Johnson. 3 teenagers designed a mini refrigerator that cools itself with salt and doesn't require an outlet. They're bringing it to hospitals to help transport medical supplies to rural areas without electricity. And I am going to butcher these names, and to these young men, I apologize. To everybody involved that I am about to destroy the names of, I apologize. Dhruv Chaudhary, Mithran Ladhania, and Ridul Jain live in Indore, India, and all have parents working in the medical field. The boys decided to find a salty refrigeration technique after hearing how challenging it was to bring COVID-19 vaccines to rural areas without electricity. Similar to the potato clock, asks Becky, I think we're going to see in a moment how this works, and it's fascinating. Potato clocks work on the fact that there is, like, with a salt battery and a potato clock, that's more the effect of generating an electrical charge. I don't think these actually generate charge with salt. I think they rely on a different thermal effect. So we're going to get into this. Their invention, which they call Thermovault, won them the 2025 Earth Prize on Saturday of that week. The award comes with $12,500, which they plan to use to build 200 of their refrigerators and send them to 120 hospitals for testing. They hope their refrigerator can help transport vaccines, other medicines and supplies, and even transplant organs. We've been able to help the vaccines inside the Thermovault. We've been able to keep the vaccines inside the Thermovault for almost 10 to 12 hours. Dr. Pritesh Vyas, an orthopedic surgeon who tested the device at V1 Hospital in Indore, said in a video on the Thermovault website. There is a link in the post. With some improvements like a built-in temperature monitor, he added, it will be definitely helpful, definitely useful in the remote places, the villages. Some salts can have a cooling effect when they're dissolved in water. That's because when those salts dissolve, the charged atoms or ions that make them up break apart. That separation requires energy, which the ions pull from the environment, thus cooling the water around them. It's kind of like when you've got a whole bunch of salt and ice and you put the ingredients for ice cream in a bag with that and you shake it the hell up and it freezes your ingredients for ice cream into actual ice cream. It cools them because the breaking of those bonds is pulling energy from the environment, i.e. your ingredients, which is really neat. Chadhari, Ladhania, and Jain searched the internet, first compiling a list of about 150 salts that might work, then narrowing it down to about 20 that seemed most efficient. They then borrowed a lab at the Indian Institutes of Technology to test those. To their disappointment, none of the salts cooled the water enough. They were back to square one. Turns out, they didn't need the internet after all. Their teacher recommended trying 2 different salts, barium hydroxide octahydrate, and ammonium chloride. While we did scour through the entire internet to find the best salt possible, we kind of just ended up back to our 9th grade science textbook, Chadhari said. The trio says they found that ammonium chloride maintained temperatures of around 2 to 6 degrees Celsius, about 35 to 43 degrees Fahrenheit, aka probably about what your refrigerator sits around, which is ideal for many vaccines. Adding barium hydroxide octahydrate to the mix produced sub-zero Celsius temperatures, which is ideal for some other vaccines and sometimes for transplant organs. So they are generating temperatures in the 32 degree Fahrenheit range with just salt and water combinations. Now they had 2 different refrigeration options. About 3 months later, they built a prototype and were testing it in local hospitals. The fridge itself is an insulated plastic container with a copper wall lining in the inside where the vaccines or organs would sit. The cooling solution, made by dissolving the salts in water, is poured into a space between the plastic outer wall and the copper inner wall. Cold boxes and coolant packs are already in widespread use for bringing vaccines to rural areas without electricity. Those carriers typically rely on simple ice packs. One advantage of the ammonium chloride solution, the trio of teens said, is that it's reusable in the field without electricity. You don't need a freezer to pull ice from. Rather, you can remove the salt water from the box, boil away the water, and collect the salt in its solid form, ready to dissolve in new water and produce its cooling effect all over again. So it is a recyclable process. This is fantastic. Jane said they are planning to use the prize money to pursue a performance, quality, and safety certification through the World Health Organization so they can pitch it to Gavi, an international alliance that distributes vaccines. That is phenomenal. The Earth Prize program also provides a volunteer who can help them pursue a patent, a spokesperson for the organization said. The Earth Prize competition is open to teens around the world who are working on environmental projects and awards one winner from each world region. Chudhari, Ladhania, and Jain won the prize for Asia. A global winner will be chosen by public vote, which closed on April 22nd. And I am really curious to see who won in the final, but that is really cool. To 3 teens, Dhruv Chudhari, Mithran Ladhania, and Radul Jain, who took a novel thermal process, the combination of salt and water, and created a refrigerator, an electricless refrigerator out of it to keep vaccines and potentially organs to get them to rural areas. Cheers. Becky, sweet, I actually understood that. I am happy that I explained that in a way for folks to understand. I mean, there's some science there, but that is interesting. Okay, alright, we're going to get out of science and technology. We're going to move on to health and medicine. This next one, Producer Donna and I, we go through and we add different titles to these articles as we're going through. And this one just really threw us. So we settled on a phrase that was, what are we going to call this nightmare? A version of this was sent in by Eliza. So Eliza, thank you very much for sending this in. I will copy and paste this into the chat for y'all to read along. The beer just kicked me in the throat again. Human-derived antivenom neutralizes 13 of world's deadliest snakes toxins. This version of the article was posted to Interesting Engineering on May 2nd of 2025 by Shrishti Gupta. At least I hope that is how you pronounce her name. This is fantastic. This is bonkers. So if you look in the description of this video, you'll see there are 2 links. The first one is the one I'm reading. The second one is the one that Eliza sent in that showcases the man who made this all possible. And we will talk about him. In a pivotal advance for modern science, researchers have created the most universal and effective snake antivenom to date, which in trials conducted on mice managed to neutralize the venom of some of the most lethal snakes in the world, including the black mamba, the king cobra, and tiger snakes. The study introduces a 3-part antivenom that combines 2 human-derived antibodies with a small molecule inhibitor. How'd they get the 2 human antibodies? We'll find out. Traditional antivenoms are typically produced by immunizing animals like horses or sheep with venom from a single snake species, then extracting and purifying the antibodies. While effective, this method often triggers adverse reactions due to the non-human origin of the antibodies and tends to be limited to specific species or regions. The new antivenom takes an entirely new approach, drawing on the immune system of a human donor who had developed extreme resistance to the venom. The donor, for a period of nearly 18 years, had undertaken hundreds of bites and self-immunizations with escalating doses from 16 species of very lethal snakes that would normally kill a horse. Says first author Jacob Glanville, CEO of Centivax Incorporated. That's right. There is a man on par, like straight up Florida man level insanity, who for 18 years has been exposing himself to repeated bites from some of the most venomous, potent snakes in the world, and has developed an unbelievable resistance and provided his antibodies, human antibodies, for vaccine use. Mind blown. What was exciting about the donor was his once-in-a-lifetime unique immune history, says Glanville. Not only did he potentially create these broadly neutralizing antibodies, in this case, it could give rise to a broad-spectrum or universal antivenom. That's right, his continued exposure... Hey, Dirty Rogue, I don't think we are dealing with a human at this point. I don't think so either. This man is nuts. He got bit so many times, what they extracted from him could be used to make a universal antivenom. You think of all the different combinations of proteins that make up snake venom and make up its potency, and how many different venomous snakes there are out there that have the potential to kill people, be it kraits or king cobras, mambas, tiger snakes, brown snakes, gosh, I'm trying to think of the long list. Vipers. Gosh, vipers of every flavor and appearance. And this guy's getting bit by all of them to produce unbelievably powerful antibodies. Oh. Becky, all I heard is exposing himself to the snakes. And Joseph, the hell. Producer Donna informs me, just wait till the end of the article. Keep reading. All right, ma'am. You got it. For the formulation of the antivenom, a study was conducted using venom samples from 19 snakes considered deadly by the World Health Organization. They didn't even say his name yet. They said it now. They completely... Oh, that is a faux pas in this article. They did not mention his name until now. But they only mentioned his last name. What was his first name again? Producer Donna, can you link the other article so I can get his name? Or can you post his name? Producer Donna says, on one hand, totally needed and awesome job to the dude, but on the other hand, guy's nuts. I really want to give him credit because they just list his last name, which they should have given this man full honors in this article. I believe the other one does. Tim Fried. From Tim Fried's blood, the scientists extracted antibodies that neurobiologically matched the major neurotoxic substances that were on the panel. Following this, they attempted to use each of the antibodies with the various venoms on mice and came up with the most effective cocktail. The final formulation included 3 components: the antibody LNXD09, which protected against 6 species, the small molecule toxin inhibitor verisplatib, which added coverage for 3 more, and the second antibody SNXB03, which extended protection across the entire venom panel. With this combination, the team achieved full protection in 13 species and partial protection in the remainder. By the time we reached 3 components, we had a dramatically unparalleled breadth of full protection for 13 of the 19 species, and then partial protection for the remaining that we looked at, says Glanville. We were looking down at our list and thought, what's that 4th agent? And if we could neutralize that, do we get further protection? Producer Donna says, Tim Fried admits it's been a rocky road, however. Right out of the gate, he says, I was put in the ICU after 2 cobra bites, and I dropped into a coma for 4 days. That's horrifying. With promising results in animal models, the researchers now plan to test the antivenom's effectiveness in real-world settings. The first step will involve using it in Australian veterinary clinics to treat dogs bitten by venomous snakes. Simultaneously, the team is developing a separate formulation for the viper family, which includes species prevalent in other regions of the world. Oh, I just thought about the boom slang, too. That one is You want to read a horror story? Read what happens when you get bit by a boom slang. We're turning the crank now, setting up reagents to go through this iterative process of saying what's the minimum sufficient cocktail to provide broad protection against venom from the viperids, says lead author Peter Kwong. The final contemplated product would be a single pan-anti-venom cocktail, or we potentially would make two, one that is for the elapids and another that is for the viperids, because some areas of the world only have one or the other. That is awesome. To everybody involved with the production of this potential universal antivenom, and to Tim Freed for being bit hundreds of times over the course of 18 years to provide this unbelievable breakthrough. And to Eliza for sending this in. Cheers. Becky asks, does this guy just go looking for poisonous snakes? No, he owns a bunch. He owns and cares for several of the most venomous species on the planet. And, as part of that, has been building up this immunity to their venom. Like, building up an immunity to iocane powder. It's crazy. All right, that's going to get us out of health and medicine. We're going to move on to the beer is getting to me. Category 3, flora and fauna, aka plants and animals. And we're starting off with an article that we call Gabby's Back, Baby. And this one was sent in by Cassidy. So Cassidy, thank you so much. I will copy and paste this into the chat for y'all to read along. Producer Donna said, to date, he estimates he's willingly been bit some 200 times by all manner of venomous snakes. Black mambas, taipans, that was another one I was trying to think of, was a taipan. Cobras, kraits, and many others. And hello, Charlie. Oldest Great Lakes piping plover returns to Sleeping Bear Dunes. This was posted to MLive on April 30th of 2025. By Lindsay Moore. One of Lake Michigan's most famous residents has returned home to Sleeping Bear Dunes National Lakeshore. Gabby, the oldest Great Lakes piping plover, returned to her shoreline home this month, just in time for breeding season. Gabby, or OFGBXY, is a 16-year-old female plover. She was hatched in 2009 on North Manitou Island. In addition to being one of the oldest female Great Lakes piping plover, she also has won the title of oldest known Great Lakes. So in addition to being the oldest female Great Lakes piping plover, she has also won the title of oldest known Great Lakes piping plover. This is quite an accomplishment considering the average age of piping plovers is 3 to 5 years. She is more than triple the upper limit. Stephanie Schubel of the Great Lakes Piping Plover Conservation Team previously told MLive. A remarkable life given the many obstacles plovers face with disturbances to their habitat from natural predators, humans, and dogs. The species was federally listed as endangered back in 1986 because of habitat loss, nest disturbance, and predation by other birds or animals. Plovers voyage on twice-yearly migrations spanning 1,000 miles or more. After nesting a few different locations, Gabby returned to Sleeping Bear in 2019 and has called it home ever since. Like a true Michigander, she heads south for some beach time in the winter. She frequents Cumberland Island National Seashore in Georgia, where she was spotted in January along the Atlantic Ocean. Over the course of her life, it's estimated Gabby has flown over 40,000 miles migrating. Last summer, observers documented 81 unique pairs of piping plovers across the Great Lakes, beating the record set in 2023 by one pair. Gabby has raised 35 chicks to fledglings. Researchers are excited to see her return this summer, especially after finding a new beau last summer. Kind of like a certain albatross that we've talked about quite a bit, huh? 5 other yearly birds were spotted in Sleeping Bear Dunes National Lakeshore in April. The Great Lakes Piping Plover Conservation Team spotted 3 returnees, a male that nests at Sleeping Bear Point, 3 males that nest along Platte Bay, and a female that also nests along Platte Bay. In addition to the Great Lakes team, Friends of Sleeping Bear Dunes, a volunteer-led nonprofit, helps protect habitats at the National Lakeshore. You can donate to their Piping Plover Protection Fund at a link in the website. You can also raise a glass to these fluffy shoreline birds at a fundraiser benefiting the plover conservation. Oh, they had a fundraiser on May 1st. I didn't know about it. It was a Dune Bird Winery. That's awesome. Conservation results have flourished in the last few years for the piping plovers. Some conservation experts and retired park staff feared that federal hiring pauses and spending limits at national parks may impact these efforts. The Michigan Department of Natural Resources typically hires 5 piping plover monitors stationed at state parks along Lake Michigan. 3 of those 5 positions are funded through federal grants. However, this year, the Trump administration did not release those funds. Not wanting to lose ground on conservation efforts, the DNR has decided to fund those endangered species-focused workers anyway, on their own dime. The Great Lakes team, run by a nonprofit, is looking for Michigan volunteers to help monitor Lake Michigan beaches from May to August. Volunteers are needed at Silver Lake State Park, Fisherman's Island State Park, Leelanau State Park, and Wilderness State Park. To get involved, there is a number and an email. You can call the parks directly, or you can contact Stephanie Schubel at glpipldata@gmail.com. That is awesome. Yup, and producer Donna said we've got Wisdom and Gabby, official members of the Cougar Club. To Gabby, the oldest Great Lakes piping plover, and to Cassidy, who sent in that article. Cheers. No, Charlie, I will not say it 3 times fast. This beer is kicking me in the throat. Group volunteer time. We're going to all go and we're going to look for plovers, and I'm fine with that. They're adorable. Plovers are right up there with, like, puffins in terms of avian adorableness. Alright, we call this next one All the Buzz and Friends. And I will copy and paste this into the chat if y'all want to read along. Becky says, love it. Charlie says, bees! Staten Island transforms giant garbage dump into a stunning oasis for bees and butterflies. This was posted to good.is on May 1st of 2025 by Mark Wales. This is a new site for us. We have not pulled news from good.is before. Producer Donna has been really good about checking over the news that we're pulling from sites like goodnewsnetwork.org, good.co, and others, making sure that we're not getting AI-written articles, that we're getting articles written by people. And this good.is may be one that's joining our cycle, so let's see what we got. Staten Island is known for its close-up view... Oops, sorry, I just bumped the table. Staten Island is known for its close views of the Statue of Liberty and Manhattan skyline, some playful jeering by the other boroughs of New York calling it the Forgotten Borough, and over 170 parks. It also once claimed the world's largest landfill, taking in a colossal 29,000 tons of trash per day. Freshkills Landfill, what a name, sits on over 150 million tons of solid waste, and now it's getting an environmental makeover. With the planting of 50,000 native violets, the Freshkills Park Alliance wants to bring bees, monarch butterflies, and all the little pollinating organisms to reshape the area and help rebalance the local ecosystems. Planting these violets is incredibly important to the ecosystem within Freshkills and also the region, according to Mark Murphy, president of the Freshkills Park Alliance. Our 2,200 acres of native grassland is not just a place of beauty, but a place of highly efficient carbon capture, of resilience, regrowth, and environmental sustainability. Endeavors to reclaim areas damaged by the inevitable human footprint have been growing more critically important to the long-term sustainability of our planet. Organizations like the Ocean Cleanup focuses on the removal of plastic pollution in the ocean. One tree planted has restored over 290,000 acres of forest around the world by planting 135 million plus trees, one at a time. And the Sierra Club has been gathering volunteers and activists to fight for the rights and maintenance of parks and monuments across the planet for more than 130 years. And they're all working towards improving planet health. These groups aim to redirect public perspective and actions towards more environmentally responsible behaviors. What makes developments such as the Fresh Kills Park so important is bees. Their population has been on the decline since the mid-1980s, and things aren't getting better. It's getting worse. A crisis is at hand, according to the U.S. beekeeping industry, over the deaths of hundreds of millions of bees during this past winter. Habitat destruction, pesticides, and changing weather patterns are decimating bee populations and impacting agricultural industry's ability to feed the planet. Organizations focused on the redevelopment of habitat for pollinators like bees are becoming more urgently important. But it's not just large-scale actions that make differences. You and I can help too. You can go chemical-free in your yards. Choosing bee-friendly plants is a strong start. Unknown to others, 70% of bee species, including the familiar bumblebee, are ground nesting bees. They're not building beehives in the trees. They're actually burrowing into the ground to form their homes. These individuals are fortunate enough to have a small home. Those individuals fortunate enough to have a small home garden can leave bare patches of soil and avoid mulching with wood chips to create nesting sites for these important pollinators. As science brings us new data and suggestions on to healthily navigate the planet, it's nice to see organizations stepping up and trying to make it a little healthier and safer for the now and future. The Fresh Kills Alliance science team plans on studying the impact of large-scale native violet planting over the next 2 years. Expecting to be fully opened by 2036, Fresh Kills Park will be almost 3 times the size of Central Park. That is awesome. So the Fresh Kills Park planted 50,000 violets for bees, butterflies, and other pollinators. And that is just the start. Basically starting to transform a dump into a beautiful park. Yay, Butterfly Homes from Becky. Sounds like a good neighborhood name. Fresh Kills. To everybody involved with the planting of these violets and the conservation efforts being taken, cheers. There's Sue. I see the light reflecting off of his claw. This is so exciting, makes my heart happy, says Charlie in the chat. It makes me happy too. Alright, that's going to get us out of... Dad, come here, Dad. No, my annoying small child. Stop. Go away. Shoo. That's going to get us out of Flora and Fauna. We're going to move on to Category 4, the Wholesome Notes. We called this first one Wild Thing. And I will copy and paste this into the chat if y'all want to read along. Producer Donna, confirm for me, please, this one was one you found, wasn't it? Or was this a send-in? I'm suddenly having a brain fart on whether or not I credited the person if it was someone else that sent it in. This was one of mine. Okay, cool. Thank you, Producer Donna. All right. After being on the lam for 529 days, Valerie the dog finally rescued. Dirty Rogue, you rang? This was posted to Global News on April 27th of 2025 by Michelle Butterfield. Valerie, the miniature dachshund. After 529 days on the lam, Valerie, the miniature dachshund, has finally been rescued. Producer Donna shouting, Sue, Becky, Wild Thing, you make my heart sing. That's all I'm going to say because I don't want this video to get copyright struck. It is a good song. It's a fantastic song. Valerie, a tiny wiener dog with a pink collar, first went missing in November of 2023 after she escaped from her pen on a beach on Kangaroo Island in South Australia and ran off into the bush in the surrounding Stokes Bay. That's right, this happened in Australia, home of more animals that want to kill everything else than anywhere else on the planet. And this little miniature dachshund survived Australia for 529 days. Her owners, with the help of locals and staff at Kangala Wildlife Rescue, spent the next 5 days searching for their furry friend before giving up and going home to New South Wales. And whilst lost dogs often capture hearts, Valerie captured international attention as the world watched and waited, following along closely after several sightings were reported in recent months. Valerie has been safely rescued and is fit and well, Kangala Wildlife Rescue announced on its Facebook group on Friday night, sharing that a well-worn t-shirt that once belonged to Valerie's owner was key to her rescue. That's right, the dog was healthy. So it survived all the other nightmares of Australia and was winning. A miniature dachshund was winning Australia. Get this dog an award. We were able to rip little strips off of it, and we started the process of just adding more and more bits towards the trap site as we went along. Lisa Karen, one of Kangala's directors, said in a video shared on the social media platform, explaining that the final rescue came when Valerie's curiosity got the better of her, and she became interested in the cage they were using to try to capture her. It was outfitted with toys, a bed, hidden food, and more clothing from her owners. Eventually, Karen explained the tiny dog began entering the cage, and at one point, while she sniffed around for the hidden food, they were able to remotely trigger the cage's door and close it. Knowing the dog would likely be nervous and shy after her time running free, Karen said she put on the now tatty shirt and began to approach the dog, making a slow introduction. She came up, would sniff us, and we'd just go by her cues until she was completely calm and snuggled up in our laps. It was amazing, Karen said. Late last month, Valerie made global headlines when she was spotted on surveillance cameras by Kangala Wildlife Rescue still donning her pink collar and alive more than 500 days after she disappeared. No one thought a little dachshund like Valerie would survive alone in the wild, but more than 12 months after she went missing, regular reports started coming in about a dachshund with a pink collar being seen about 15 kilometers from Stokes Bay, the Animal Rescue Agency said in a Facebook post on March 21st. Becky says, yes, dog 1, Australia 0. Producer Donna, they had tried catching her a few times before, but she kept escaping. On March 27th, a Kangala Rescue staff member reported a sighting, saying it enabled the team to narrow down the search area, adding that they could now feed Valerie and have installed cameras to track her movements. She's looking really healthy, the staff member confirmed in a separate Facebook video. Since her rescue, Valerie's care team has been working to build up the dog's trust and strength. Of course, we had her favorites, Karen said of the meals first brought to Valerie. Roast chicken and her favorite dog food as well. They were the first things to help her recognize that we were safe and that we were not a threat. She's also wearing a special escape-proof harness to ensure she doesn't manage to run away again, because she survived Australia for 529 days and who knows what she'll do to the ecosystem on her second time around. Valerie will soon be reunited with her over-the-moon owners. The team at Kangala said, but first there will be a short period of decompression and relaxation for the small dog. We want to return her to her beautiful owners the best way possible and not cause her any more trauma or stress, because undoubtedly out there in 16 months, she would have gone through a lot. To everybody involved at the, how do you say this again? The Kangala Wildlife Rescue that managed to track and recover Valerie, the miniature dachshund who survived the wilds of Australia for 529 days, and to Valerie for winning Australia. Cheers. Yeah, bud? You just tapping around back there? I see you. No, you don't have any food in there. You haven't put anything in there in a little bit. He's got a little larder that he stuffs food in and then he goes back to it. It's very fascinating. All right, last article for the night. We called it Vodka for Dog People. This is an unexpected combination. I'm going to copy and paste this into the chat if y'all want to read along. Yes, Daku Yoru, this beer is kicking in. This is 15.1% whoop ass, and it has been doing a number on me. I think my cheeks are a little rosier as the articles have gone on. Maybe tap lessons are needed for Sue, says Becky. Alright. Shelter gets maternity suite makeover for their most vulnerable rescues, pregnant stray dogs. This was posted to goodgoodgood.co on May 2nd of 2025 by Megan Cook. Dogs and liquor don't seem like they'd go hand in hand, but Tito's handmade vodka has been helping dogs for more than 25 years. And I kicked myself for not knowing that fact. In the last 5 years, the initiative Vodka for Dog People has supported over 2,500 animal-related nonprofits. In 2024 alone, they funded 75,000 spay and neuter surgeries and medical treatments, all while finding forever homes for over 160 stray dogs and cats that have wandered into their distillery. 160 dogs and cats have wandered into their distillery and they found them homes. Tito's Vodka. I make jokes about it. I'm not going to anymore because this is phenomenal. Julie says, a vodka for dog article while beer is kicking my butt. From the first distillery dogs that would eventually become family to the many dogs that frequent our offices now, dogs have always been an important part of who we are at Tito's Handmade Vodka. Beth Belanti Pander, program manager for Vodka for Dog People, told Idaho Magazine back in August. We think they make life better, and we try to do the same for them. From our support of yappy hours and dog-friendly events to joining forces with animal-focused nonprofits across the country. In their latest endeavor, VFDP gave a local Houston-based nonprofit 3 Little Pitties, which there is a link in the description and in the article. They gave them a facility makeover that expanded 3 nurseries, improved the rescue's grooming room, and built a dedicated puppy cuddling area for volunteers. Julie said, no more making fun of Tito's. Charlie said, don't lie, you know that vodka still hurts you, but now it's emotionally in the feels. Yes, it is. It is now hurting me twice. Oh, this is adorable. Elena Matronga Goodson, the executive director at 3 Little Pitties Rescue, said that the investment has broadened the rescue's ability to care for thousands of puppies and expectant mothers in the future. One right after the other, we are able to move in desperate nursing or pregnant dogs that have nowhere else to turn and give them a comfortable and safe environment to have their babies, Goodson said in a press release. We are thrilled to have VFDP come in and revitalize the nurseries to make it a welcoming and joyful-looking environment, not only for the dogs, but also for the staff and volunteers who care for them. A stray dog named Lucy was one of the first dogs to try out the newly transformed maternity suites. Lucy was a stray dog that had given birth to 6 puppies in a nearby landfill and was living beneath a rusty dumpster. After getting picked up by 3 Little Pitties volunteers, Lucy and her litter received much-needed medical care, as well as a calm, clean place to grow and thrive. Charlie said, oh, to be tipsy and lay in a puppy cuddle pit. Dakuyoru said, I heard of vodka for dogs and wondered how they managed to get a dog drunk. I was confused. Dakuyoru, we were all confused. Three Little Pities has created something truly special. A safe, welcoming place for one of the most overlooked dog populations. Stray pregnant dogs. Belanti Pander said in a press release. Shots and puppy cuddles, says Julie. Their work ensures that these dogs can safely bring their puppies into the world and find the loving homes they deserve. It's a one-of-a-kind mission, and we're incredibly honored to help support it. That is amazing. To Tito's Handmade Vodka, a company that I have talked down about since I came of legal age to drink. And I now have to change my tune on. If just because of their Vodka for Dog People initiative that has these stats supported over 2,500 animal-related nonprofits. In 2024, funded 75,000 spays, neuters, and other medical treatments. And found forever homes for over 160 stray dogs and cats that wandered into their distillery. Cheers. That does it for our broadcast tonight. 7 amazing articles. Thank you again for tuning in or catching the replay on the Knicks News Facebook page or the YouTube page. That's right, you can catch all the replays on the YouTube page. We do links to them on the Facebook page. Again, we're live every Sunday, and our next episode will be on May 11th of 2025. We encourage participation, so if you feel inclined, you can message or post suggestions for news brews, for shoutouts, for news quotes, and especially good news articles that we can present on future episodes. If you send a bunch of articles, please try to spread them out across our 4 major categories. Those categories, again, were science and technology, health and medicine, flora and fauna, aka plants and animals, and those wholesome notes, those really nice ones that we like to end on. You can message us on Facebook or our Instagram, or you can email us at somebudgetstudios@gmail.com. Links are in the descriptions. Feel free to like, subscribe, or comment on all of our content on Facebook and YouTube to get our good news and joy out into the algorithm. I'll never tell you what to do, but I can't thank you all enough from the bottom of my heart. Every like, every subscribe, every comment, every little bit of engagement has continued to grow Knicks News and has continued to spread us across Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Our numbers continue to rise, and I can't thank you all enough. It's because of you that we are seeing these increases, and we are getting this Hope Corps content out to more people. We are bombarded with bad news on a daily basis, and I'm happy that Knicks News can go through and do the work of finding that good news, those little diamonds in the rough, and presenting it to all of you. So thank you all again from the bottom of my heart. As always, thank you again. I love you all. Have a great night, and I will play us out.